as you know, we live in a world today that is changing dramatically. The risks are changing, the people are changing, and it is changing mostly for the worse. With the changes that we are seeing today, it is forcing families to look more towards themselves for bringing about solutions. Families are believing less and less that solutions can come from the governments worldwide. When we look today at the risk that you have at airports, think about the last bombing, I think it was in Brussels. That is a risk that no one anticipated since 9/11. So the risks are growing, they are changing, they're becoming more and more uncalculable, and therefore people are looking to a sector that can provide some form of security. That sector is the insurance sector, and it is yet a sector that is least understood by the masses. And that is where we hope to give some value to people by breaking down the workings of the sector in a manner that they can engage the sector in a meaningful way and bring the kind of results that they want for themselves and their families. What we usually do is every year we listen very keenly to what customers are saying. And once we assess the main concerns, we create a team around that concern. And this year, we are pretty much convinced that based on the feedback that we have had, people want to understand better how they can make use of life insurance policies as an instrument to better their lives. So we will talk this year at the conference about the dash between life and death. And we will indicate to people how they can fill in those dashes with life insurance products and services. You have to take, for example, into account the various stages that people go through. One key stage is birth. The next key stage is the educational process. The next stage is when you are setting up a family, when you're going to purchase a home, and one of the very, very key stages is also when you retire. During all those stages, there are life insurance products, life insurance policies that can aid in helping you to strengthen the family finances, but also to protect certain assets that you would acquire over that period.
Marigold, and presently 15 have received an ID. This ID was granted by the French official. Once these persons go over on the French side, they have to identify themselves by means of this ID. They will also be issued a sticker that needs to be placed on the bus so that the gendarmerie, once they enter onto the French side and they are in the bus terminal, they can be identified. The reason for doing such is to avoid that we have a lot of illegal Dutch bus drivers that venture over on the French side and do not possess the Dutch nationality. Just each government has informed them that once the meetings have been held with the respective bus drivers association, both French and Dutch, they will start with control, specifically on the French side, to eradicate this illegal behavior of the illegal bus drivers from the Dutch side. The documents that these bus drivers will receive will facilitate the controls that will be conducted by the French gendarmerie on the transborder routes. The controls will be stepped up once it is agreed upon by myself and the French officials, Mr. Guillaume Arnel. And once the agreement is made, The Bus Drivers Association from both the French and Dutch side will be informed as to the date that the control will start. This control will greatly alleviate and regulate the bus service between the French and the Dutch side, and it is the intention that other routes will also be regulated, the French Quarter routes and the routes going down to Terbas.
Life is a journey full of connections. You're in safe hands even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
That the WIFL will be hosting, and also in conjunction with ITEL Shack, we will be doing an activity, a pre-emancipation day activity, and Bushman is here with me. He will explain exactly what we intend to do for that activity. July 1st, which is Emancipation Day, for WIFL, it is a very important and historical day for us because before this day was established as a public holiday, for years we have been lobbying along with other organizations to have Emancipation Day be recognized as a public holiday. It so happened that one of our shop stewards who entered into politics and became a minister, Rhoda Arundel, she started the ball rolling. Eventually it became law, even though she wasn't there at the end to sign it off, but because of her persistency and the union determination to have that day as a public holiday, we're now realizing that and celebrating Emancipation Day. It's an important day for the people of St. Martin, for the ex-slaves, their children, their grandchildren, and the immigrant workers, the migrant workers. It's important that we recognize that this day is the most important day in the history of the working class on St. Martin. not only on St. Martin, but throughout the Caribbean. You know, every August Monday, a lot of St. Martiners and other persons who live here goes to Anguilla for August Monday. But August Monday is actually their Emancipation Day, the liberation from work without pay. And that is the difference between celebrating now and the reality back then. People work endless hours and no pay. Today, your work hours are controlled and restricted, and that's why we also have Labor, Labor Day, which passed a couple, let's say a couple of weeks back, and that was the establishment of the 8 hours work week. That was why we got Labor Day. It was the establishment of the 8 hours work week. So great accomplishments have been made for workers through their struggle over the past years. For this celebration activity, we'll be joining also with other organizations, and there should be a Run for Freedom replay of the slave escaping from the Dutch side going to the French side, and that will be reacting of that reality. But before we join them in that activity, we will be having on the Thursday night, which will be the 30th of June, one of the things that we visualize for the future for St. Martin. St. Martin is a consumer country. Almost everything we consume, we import. And our vision for the future, and that's why we joined this press conference with Bushman, who has been sharing his vision for the future in agriculture and other area of animal husbandry and fishery, where he has been promoting that we get back to the soil to feed ourselves.
Give thanks for life. Well, really give thanks and praise, first of all, that we can first remember Emancipation Day, because not for we talk about Emancipation Day, but really the meaning of Emancipation Day is when you know you can be free. The first thing for you to be free of is when you can feed yourself. Because if you say you're free and you still depend on your enemy to feed you, that means, you know, they're going to poison you slowly, and that will happen with us in this time. That we have a lot of diabetes, blood pressure, all type of disease there, because the food that we importing. Now, knowing where my grandpeople come from, my grandparents, my ancestors come from in St. Martin, we used to have food. They used to eat. St. Martin used to feed itself. But I don't know now what happened, that over the years, how we fall short, that we cannot feed ourselves more, that we got to depend on others to feed us. That means we're doing this lecture, this event here, we come together with 3 professionals, like you can say, who is first Tazia Varut from Nature Foundation. We have Mervyn Butcher from the government, and we have Justin Richardson, our agriculturalist. 3 of them will be there to edify the people there, and then after we want to discuss, we want to ask questions, because the more important point is, how can we revive agriculture? We have land, do we have water? What do we need to revive agriculture? I mean, this is a topic you want to start on Emancipation Day celebration with, and really give thanks that we can come together with Rifle, who is in this struggle a long time for his people there. And we know out agriculture we can give our people and work. Agriculture is a work, and like we always say, the only way we can get our culture again, when we start agree with culture. And the only way when we start agree with culture, we get agriculture. I mean, we hope to see everybody on the 30th of, Thursday, 30th of June, so we can discuss and debate and see how we can revive agriculture.
Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah!
Here we go. This is freedom, this is life. Happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that have come to last. Here's to living in the now.
When you can afford what you crave, life just gets so good.
Alive and I'm feeling good, so good, so good, so good. Hey, I'm gonna live my life, feeling good, so good, real good, so
KFC, so good for everyone.
These are the doors that never close. These are the hands that make a difference. These are the walls that could tell countless stories of helping and healing, of storms weathered, of change and growth, of a place where life begins, where hearts are mended, and where hope grows stronger. For more than a quarter of a century, the physicians, medical professionals, and staff of St. Martin Medical Center have combined advanced medical technology and compassionate care to bring a world of medicine to our friends, neighbors, and visitors to the island of St. Martin we all call home. As proud as we are of what we have accomplished, we believe there is still much work to do to continue a proud tradition of providing everyone in our community with the latest technology, the best medicine, and the most exceptional care. St. Martin Medical Center, celebrating 25 years of serving, caring, healing.
Debriefing of IPCO and the tripartite in a committee meeting of CCARE, the so-called Kingdom Affairs and Interparliamentary Relations Committee. Will be talking about the debriefing. Just briefly, because we had spoken about it in the past, is the fact that we have had our IPCO, and again, the dispute regulation was very much in focus during those meetings. Where that stands right now is as follows. As you know, the draft by the Kingdom Council of Ministers through Minister Plaster, the draft dispute regulation, has been put for what they call internet consultation. So that draft is out there on the internet. Persons can comment on the draft by Plaster. The three Caribbean islands, Curacao, St. Martin, and Aruba, also have a draft. There is a route that we, as the three Caribbean countries, can follow in getting this draft to the second chamber. We can do so through our ministers plenipotentiary. However, right now, the three countries, St. Martin, Curacao, and Aruba, are looking at the most efficient way to get to a dispute regulation. In other words, it has been suggested that during the meetings in the Netherlands, that the three Caribbean countries consider making amendments to the draft that is now there by Minister Plasterk. So we need to take that fact. It has already been analyzed, and we can suggest amendments that fit our purpose. We can suggest those to Minister Plasterk's draft, or we pursue the course of our own draft. Hopefully, in the coming weeks, we need to do so speedily, a decision can be taken by the three countries which route we will follow. Why is this so important? Is because with our own draft, you still need the approval by the second chamber. We cannot vote on our draft in the second chamber. So we will have to rely on the consensus and support by the second chamber, a majority in the second chamber to get our law passed. That's one thing. If in the chamber there is support for Minister Plasterk's initiative and we can get our amendments that suit our purposes into that draft, then we still need the support of the second chamber, but at least we will have an idea how the second chamber looks at which draft. So that's why that is so important that we make that decision what route to take, because as I have stated in the IPCO and in the tripartite, for us we need to consider what is our end goal, where do we want to reach. That's what we need to decide. And as far as I know, that is to have a dispute regulation ASAP. With that decision in mind, with that consideration in mind, the question is how can we quickest get there? That's what we need to consider. So whether we need to kind of maneuver ourselves in the draft by Plasterk, whatever the case may be, with that goal in mind, we need to see what's the best approach.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Good evening, everyone. Protocol being established, it is my honor to address you on behalf of Class 2016. Agents of change, consistently contributing to an educated workforce. This is a long theme. First time I heard a theme so long. But in order to become agents of change in one society, you must change within yourself. This has been a long, challenging, yet gratifying journey to this day. For some, it felt strange sitting beside one of your elementary students you have taught years ago, and vice versa. That is a change compared to the past. The classes were mixed with students in their early 20s and even those in their late 50s. Another change in comparison to the past. We even had those who attended class with their children. But despite the age difference, or even differences in majors, our minds were made up and we were determined to achieve the very best and nothing less in becoming agents of change to an educated workforce. From semester 1, the sleepless nights and early mornings began, and we quickly had to adjust our schedules and spend more time researching, studying, and reading, and yet live up to our jobs and family obligations. Those who were not used to USM nightlife quickly became friends with Coffee Mate and Maxwell House, and even ginger and vitamin C. That was the ritual. And you know what? The supermarkets were happy with us. We quickly realized that in order to function, we had to remember the 5 Ps, which are proper preparation prevents poor performance. So we needed to equip ourselves with a few things: time management, proper planning, perseverance, sacrifice, endurance, determination, a strong self-esteem, and motivation, whether it was from family, friends, classmates, colleagues, even teachers. And make sure your assignments were in on time because points were being deducted. For some, it was a very emotional and strenuous journey, and a great challenge combining work, family, and study. We made new friends and even created our very own USM family.